So hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all. Welcome to today's edition of IFCA Soccer Hub Talks. My name is Ricardo Albeira. I'm the CEO and founder of Soccer Hub. So don't forget that this is a live webinar, so you will be able to ask questions to our speakers. So today we are here with José Gomes. José Gomes is a UEFA Pro level licensed coach and master in physical education. He worked in Portuguese clubs such as Valadares, Passos de Ferreira, Sporting Clube da Covilhã, Gil Vicente, Aves, Leixões, Leiria, Moreirense, Rio Ave, FC Porto, and SL Benfica. He also has a lot of experience abroad, having worked in clubs such as Malaga in Spain, Panathinaikos in Greece, Videoton in Hungary, Old Town and Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia. More recently, José fulfilled his dream of working in English football, having been the Reading FC head coach. Currently, he is the head coach of the First League Portuguese club called CS Marítimo. So I'm going to introduce at the moment José in this conversation. Here it is. Hello, José. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Thank you for your time. Thank you for accepting our invitation to be here with us in this small conversation. As you know, this is a live broadcast, so our audience can also ask some questions if they want. So we will start. I'm aware that José has a long career in many different countries. Which was the country that you enjoyed the most to work in, José?
Well, I like it a lot to work in Greece, but in that time I was assistant manager. So, like head coach, I think England was the country that I really liked it to work in, and because the way that the support that all the fans gave to us to us, I mean the Portuguese technical stuff, and also the fantastic environment and the atmosphere in the stadiums, that is really very unique and in the world.
Okay, my next question is exactly that. Why do you believe that English football is so attractive to coaches? We know that the match is wonderful. You can see the matches everywhere. The players are wonderful, are some of the best in the world. But I see in many Portuguese coaches that I know that they all want to go to the UK to English football. Why is that, José?
Well, I think is leaving the original football.
Okay.
Because we cannot hide that, and you feel it if you go there to the stadiums, the old stadiums, the tradition. You can feel that the football born in England, and definitely England is the football country. You feel that the families plan their life depending where their teams will play next weekend. So it's part of their life. They live the football like you cannot see in any other country in the world. So big passion, but at the same time, with a lot of respect and knowledge for the football, because in some countries in South America, we watched recently the Portuguese manager getting the title and the Libertadores from a Brazilian team, Jorge Jesus, a Portuguese manager. A lot of passion, a lot of people in the stadium. They really love the club. But we know that we cannot feel really safe walking around the stadiums and the streets. And in England, it's completely different. So if we put everything together, the intensity of the football, the conditions to work, the number of fans in the stadiums, the quality of the players and the organization of the clubs, England, I think, and the English football, it's the dream of any. At least in Portugal, we born and
Mhm.
we grow thinking like that.
It's we have some Portuguese coaches working in England. Of course, we have many others working a bit all over the world. But concerning to the English football, why do the English clubs look so oftenly for Portuguese coaches? What do you think that they are looking for in this kind of coaches, and what kind of special thing does the Portuguese coaches have?
Because the English people demand from themselves the best. So, I mean, they want the best coaches working with them, and in my opinion, we have the best coaches in the world. Why I'm saying this? Not because I'm Portuguese, but if we look if we look the way that the Portuguese coaches adapt in any country,
Yeah.
difficult conditions. For example, a few days ago, yesterday or 2 days ago, Horacio Gonçalves get the title in Mozambique.
Yeah.
And if you go there and if you realize which kind of conditions he worked, you understand that. I work in Saudi Arabia. We have around 10 coaches that work in four different areas of the planet. It's incredible the capacity that the Portuguese managers that have to adapt to a difficult and different conditions. And at the same time, because we don't develop ourselves in rich conditions with a lot of pitches, sometimes we share in the beginning of our careers, we share the football pitch with two or three other coaches with two or three other teams at the same time in the same pitch. So we must develop the exercises and find the best ways to achieve to our targets. And I think this is the most important thing that make the Portuguese coaches different of all the other coaches in the world. And
Yeah.
of course, you have the knowledge
Yeah.
behind this.
Sure. Yeah, of course, there are many reasons, I'm sure, but the truth is that they can adapt almost anywhere. We have in the top European leagues, we have in America now and South America, we have in Asia with Vitor Pereira. Well, all over the world. That's something that we have to think about to understand this kind of situation, and how can the Portuguese coaches use that to take them everywhere. We have here a question from, I believe it's a Brazilian. It's called Vinicius Farias. We touched a bit of this subject, but he's asking, Mr. Gomes, having worked in so many different places and countries, with such differences in relation to soccer culture, where did you think it was the hardest for you to apply your ideas, Jose?
Well, for different problems, different situations. For example, if when we arrived in Saudi Arabia, we worked in the club. Al Town is the name, and I replaced a coach from Algeria.
Okay.
The football style was completely different. So direct football, try to fight for the second balls, and they didn't play. They just I mean, they didn't play passing game. Of course, they played, and we cannot judge the way that the colleagues like and prepare their teams to play. And it was very difficult in the beginning to share the ideas with the players. Even with the translator help,
Yeah.
it was difficult to share the ideas. But when they realized what they really enjoyed, and because the Saudi people and the Saudi football players, they love the quality football, the passing game, the magic things in football. in England is a different culture, completely different culture. And in championship, as you know, looks like sometimes there are over there different rules, so we must adapt ourselves, and doesn't matter if you complain or if you don't. We cannot complain. We just need to adapt. And in the beginning, like all the time that you move so different cultures and football styles, we have different problems.
Yeah, sure.
To tell you the truth, I didn't feel like arrive and look to the complete scenario and see and say, "Oof, I cannot do anything here. I don't know how can I start this." You know, Directly when I look to the players, when I start feeling the way that they think the football, we already found the solutions, and I didn't feel any special problem to adapt my football ideas in the different countries where I have been working with.
I would say some weeks ago, I had an interview with Alan Pardew, that was working in the UK also, and he said one of the biggest challenges, and I believe that you had to deal with that in reading, it's to deal with those kinds of athletes that they believe that they are really big stars, and in the last year, no, this year in Portimão in Algarve, José Mourinho said almost the same thing. That he would say that this problem was a problem that sacked him out of the club. How do you deal with this kind of issues, Jose? If you had a kind of a player that it's like a big star and with the big egos, how do you deal with that, Jose?
Well, one thing it's clear, and or we talk about Cristiano or Messi, or kind of player that you need to be really patient with him too, because in the day game he solve all the problems and he can win the game alone. Or the most important thing, more than the coach, more than any player, is the team. So we cannot allow in any moment that any player thinks that is more important than the team. So the most important thing is the team performance, and nobody can win anything alone. We must work together for the same target, and the talents player, they need to put their talent to the team. It cannot be the opposite. Of course, some players are really different, and you just need to give them the ball, and they can solve the problems. But maybe they can win one or two games. But if we talk to be champion or to achieve the final targets, you just can't do it with the complete team and everybody pushing in the same way.
Okay, we have here another question from Marius Panic. Mario, then please write which country are you based in so we can have a bit of a context. Well, he's asking, where did you meet Josualdo Ferreira, and what influence did Josualdo have on your coaching philosophy and your career in general?
Well, I met Josualdo Ferreira in Benfica. When I arrived, he was assistant coach. Tony Oliveira was the head coach. I was part of the technical staff, and I met him in that time. I think 2000. In the middle of the season, Gesualdo start working like a head coach, and I go on working with him. I work one season more with him in Benfica. After he left. He went to Braga, and I follow my head coach career for 6 or 7 years. And after, when he was in Porto, he invited me to work with him again. And after we work in Porto, in Malaga, Panathinaikos, and in 2012, I decided to go on again with my own career like head coach. But Jesualdo was definitely one of the most important influence in the way that I organize and I prepare my team. I consider him like a master of football, because his long experience in the football, he always choose the right exercise to achieve that kind of target. So I learn a lot with him, the individual position, the tactical organization, doesn't matter if it's offensive or defensive. He's like a big and important football knowledge source for me. And I already said this to a journalist in Portugal, that Jesualdo will be always present in everything that I will achieve in football.
Okay, we have many questions here. We have here a question from a Portuguese coach working in the UK, Rafa Matos. José, for you, which age group is the best to get experience in competition? Greetings from Tuga coach in English grassroots.
Well, I think I sometimes it's difficult to touch the best stage to work different things in football. But competition, I think, since we start to walk, we start fighting with others. We start moving and fighting. You have competition in everything that you do. If you put a new toy in the room with the kids with 2 years old, they have competition to try to see which one of them will keep the toy in their hands. So the competition is a natural thing. And this happening with all the animals, and with all the animals in the most different situations. And we cannot talk about football without competition. We have some skills, but you can develop some skills, but we cannot talk about football if you split the skills from the football. So football is competition. If you want to teach the kids to play football, they must experience the competition. This is my opinion. I'm sorry if he doesn't agree, but I hope that he agrees, and I hope that he can put all his players, even if they are very, very young, in the competition exercises. Is the best way to learn. Is the only way to learn football, is playing football.
Another question here from Orestinho Papadakis. Mr. Gomes, which projects would be more attractive to you? Developing young players or training experienced players in order to win the championship? So would you like best to develop players to play at the highest level, or do you prefer to have more experienced players and win the competition, or both?
I think both complete the things, because even with experienced footballers, we must touch some basic things, and sometimes you cannot believe in the level that they have problems to do the basic things. And when during the week with your exercises you help the player, even if he's not young, if you help him to do and to pick to choose the best option during the game, to take advantage, to make a better control, to use your body the best way. Small details that after they use in the day game, you feel very happy, like a coach. Of course, when you win and you achieve in the end of when you finish the game and say 3 points for us, or you get a title, or you win a trophy, of course you feel very happy. But daily and week by week, when you realize that you are really helping the players to be better, to control the ball better, to be in the right position all the time, and sometimes the players tell you thank you, because now I understand, now I can use the better way, properly my strength or my skills. In the end, it's what kind of why are you working in the football? I have some friends that they just decided work with kids until 12 years old, because they feel happy and they feel completely, they feel really full with the energy of the kids, and they don't need to work with professional footballers to achieve to their target. So depends what you want for your career. I think the both complete themselves.
Okay, another question here from Greece. Which style methodology of periodization you follow, and how you structure your weekly training schedule? Question from Nikos Giaco.
Kalispera.
Kalispera.
I love Greece. I have a lot of friends over there in the time that I work in Panathinaikos. So I always try to train everything and the way that I want to play. So even in the warm up, start the training, and I try to start the training with exercises that will help the players to play better in that game plan. So the foundation of our methodology is the way that we want to play. So the tactical goals are always present in all the exercises that I choose, even like I said, to organize the warm up. So we cannot run away from, if you want to use all the time that you have for the training, we cannot run away from the game. So imagine that in the theater, if you go to the practice and you practice a completely different thing, in the day that you go to the stage, you don't know what to say and in which moment you say. So I use all the training sessions to prepare my game and to help the players to be better in the day game. So the tactical is the big foundation of my
Approach.
my approach and my week schedule.
Okay, one more question from Vitor da Costa Ferreira. Hello, bom dia, José. Bom dia. I believe he's talking from the US. So I work with high performance youth, preparing them for the next level of competition at the moment. I'm waiting to get in to do opposition analysis for our local professional club, Pacific FC. My question for you is, how important is your analyst to your process, and how and the work you do? So how important is the analyst in your
Very, very important. My analyst, well, right now is not with me because Reading wanted to keep him, so he's still working in Reading. But when I met this analyst, João Penedo from Setúbal, when I went to Videoton. So I replaced Paulo Sousa. Now he's working in France. I replaced Paulo Sousa, and João was working with Paulo Sousa in Videoton. And I told him that I wanted that he work with me on the pitch. I want it always in my right side.
Okay.
Listen my feedbacks to the players. He must know everything about the way that I feel and I watch to the game. It was the only way that in the moment that he start picking the pictures to give me the video reports, it was the best way for him to know what I really wanted, what I wanted exactly from my analyst. So today, I don't want my analyst just in the office cutting pictures. I want my analyst with me on the pitch. Sometimes he helped me, but always in my side, listen what I say to the players, understand what I want from each player, from each position. Why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because the question was how important is the analyst? Is really, really, really important because we cannot change our football style week by week, depending of the kind of opponent that we have. But we must take care of and with the strongest points of the opponent and also try to explore the weak points of the opponent. So the analyst is really, really important in the way that I'm working.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Victor, maybe you can send your CV to José to see if he can help you out. Well, we have here another question from Pittsburgh. It's from Patrick Linhart. For each team I've coached, I've tried to teach the 3 Ps: positioning, passing, and play. Would you agree with this, or should there be other focus?
I never thought in these 3 words, 3 Ps, but I think is the foundation to play football. Is if you are not able to pass the ball each other, is difficult to play football. So without good pass, you cannot play. 2 Ps we have over there, and keep the ball between. It means that you need a good position to keep the team balance. I think you are in the good way. So of course, inside each word, you have a lot of things. You have it's inside in these 3 words. Inside in each word, you have a world of things that you must organize and think, and because we cannot forget that we don't play alone. We play always against another opponent that maybe they can think the same way, or maybe they just think the way, and they prepare their team to block our ideas, and so we must be prepared for everything that the opponent is trying to do. So inside each P, you have a world of exercises and targets that you can develop, and you must work. But congratulations, I think you are in the good way.
Okay, perfect. Another question from Bernardo Mourinho. We're having a lot of questions like this: the importance of the analyst, the importance of the scout. But Bernardo is asking, how important is strength and conditioning work for your team? I imagine it will depend on the context and on the country, because you have some countries that the football is more physical or more speed. So, in your opinion, how important is strength and conditioning?
Well, we have in the football training and methodology, we have a lot of different ideas. And right now in Portugal, not right now, a few years ago, start creating two different ideas, and sometimes looks like they go against. And the people that defends the tactical periodization, they define that if you run around the pitch, or if you go to the gym, or if you make something out of the football exercises, or the football movements, or the football actions, the tactical things that you want to do on the pitch, it's a mistake. The thing is, some of these coaches, they say, no, with me, gym, it's completely out of the plan. And I'm not saying that this happened with all the teams, that they have coaches thinking like that. But what happened is that their players, when finish the training with them, they go by themselves with the personal trainer and they go to the gym, because the players, they feel that they need something more to achieve a physical level able to support all the challenge that they have during the tactical games. So my idea is, if we can make and organize our training with the tactical idea like a foundation of everything, I think is the best option. But maybe because I'm not a complete coach, I'm not prepared, I have not preparation enough like a coach. Until now, before the session on the pitch, I allowed a person to help the players to make a strength plan, individual plan, to give them the properly balance, to make a prevention work, proprioceptive work, core exercises, and strength, and weekly check how they are, if they need, and weekly they change their individual plan. And the feedback from the players is that they feel much more strong and able to play football and to train on the pitch and practice my football ideas. So
last week, before the final of Taça dos Libertadores, I talked with Marcio. I had an interview with Marcio, and of course we talked about the importance of this kind of work in that specific competition in Brazil. They have many matches, so they must be very well prepared. And he said, well, the work that we have, usually it's not strength and conditioning, but it's more to recover to the exercise and the effort, and also injury prevention. So
exactly.
I believe that we should look at this with something in all together that needs to work all together, and it has to change it depending of the context. Okay, in that case in Brazil, and he said one thing very interesting also, that they were the first ones not to change the team every week. They were playing almost with the same players, because they were able to have a good plan to recover from the effort. So I believe also that everything has to be balanced, and depends on the context. You have to have more strength and conditioning, less strength and conditioning, more recovery. Well, it depends, guys.
The idea, just let me finish this. The idea is to play football, and to use the best way that the best things that you have like a footballer. You need to feel strong and fast and without any pain, without any unbalanced. And if we with our work we can help the player to go on in competition without any kind of injury, it's better for everybody. So I look to the strength exercises like a prevention. So
Yeah.
if we make the test, the simple exams, I'm not saying the the Biodex test that you must go there and takes a long time. We have simple tests that you can make weekly, and if you check after make the analysis of the results of these tests, you realize that that player need to make something more to make this prevention. We must do it, and this is the point.
Okay, José, before we go, one last question. As I said, many people in our audience are like new coaches. They are starting their career. And my question to you, José, what kind of feedback or kind of advice do you have to deliver to a coach that is right now starting their career and they want to achieve top level? What do you believe that is more important in that phase when you are growing as a soccer coach, José?
So first of all, we cannot forget that we are talking about a game. And the game that we don't play this game, the players play that game. It means that sometimes we won't reduce everything to the coach rules and we block the players. We don't give them the freedom that the game needs and the football needs to be a better game, to bring more people to the stadiums, to let the kids, if they are in the young players, we are talking about young players, to enjoying and to feel passion for the game. Football is a passion game that the players, to be better and stronger, they must feel the passion. They must enjoy to playing football. They must feel free on the pitch to move to different places, to don't let the opponent guess where they want to receive the ball or not. Because if we cut this, we are destroying the football. So live your football coach career with passion, but let also the players feel this passion, this freedom, and enjoying the game all the time.
Wonderful advice, José. Thank you very much for your cooperation and to be able to
it was my pleasure.
Questions. We had many more. We don't have time to answer all the questions. Thank
I'm
you
sorry.
again.
Regards to all of them.
Yeah, thank you again, our audience, to be with us. Thank you, José, for taking some time, and I wish you the best in Madeira with Marítimo. I hope that everything goes well for you. And so thank you very much, José, for your time, and I hope that we can see you soon again. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so
Bye-bye,
much.
José. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So that's it. Thank you very much once again to our audience. I would like just to ask you if you enjoyed this conversation, please push the like button so we can have an idea if everything went well, if you enjoyed this. Once again, thank you very much. I imagine that maybe in 1 week we'll have another interview. So keep updated, keep following us, and see you soon. Bye.